안녕하세요. Essential Korean Kaysem입니다. In today's episode, we have another exciting grammar point to cover. The future tense form in Korean. We'll learn how to conjugate verbs in the future tense, as well as how to conjugate a few irregular verbs. So if you have been following our podcast episodes in order, you'll have all three tenses, present, past, and future, under your belt. And by the end of this episode, you'll be able to talk about events or states of being in all three tenses in Korean. How exciting is that? We should get right to the lesson. In English, the future tense is marked with the auxiliary verb, will, or the verb phrase, be going to. In the case of Korean language, the future tense in Korean is marked right in the verb. Let's take a closer look and learn how to conjugate future tense in Korean. You'll recall the process of making past tense from episode 39 and 40. Extracting the verb stem and forming the verb continuative stem, and then adding the consonant 쌍시옷, 어요 to the verb continuative stem to get the past tense of a verb in the informal polite style. Thus, we know how pivotal the verb stem and the verb continuative stem are in verb conjugation in Korean grammar. I bring this up because for future tense, we only need the verb stem. No verb continuative stem is necessary. This makes future tense simpler to execute because compared to the past tense conjugation, future tense conjugation requires one less step. All you do is extract the verb stem from the dictionary form by removing 다, and then add the consonant 리을, 거예요 if the stem ends with a vowel, and 을, 거예요 if the stem ends with a consonant to make the future tense form in the informal polite style. Vowel-ending verb stem plus 리을, 거예요, and consonant-ending verb stem plus 을 거예요. For example, let's say you want to say you will meet someone. We have 만나다 to meet, 만나 for the verb stem by removing 다 and add the consonant 리을 to the vowel ending stem 만나 and 거예요. We then have 만날 거예요, which means will meet. The subject for who is meeting is not explicitly specified, but since you wanted to say you will meet someone, 만날 거예요 here would mean I will meet, as the context determines the meaning. When spoken, 만날 거예요 is pronounced 만날 거예요. And many learners who haven't formally learned the spelling of the future tense form will often assume it's spelled like 만날 거예요. From now on, I'll pronounce it the way a native would, but just keep in mind how it is spelled and the discrepancy between the pronunciation and the way you would write future tense. Now, repeat after me to say I will meet. I'll say the dictionary form first, then the verb stem, and then add the informal polite future tense form 리을 거예요 to that. 만나다, 만나, 만날, 만날 거예요, pronounced 만날 거예요. Let's do one more verb with the vowel ending verb stem. 보다, to see or to watch. 보 would be the verb stem by having the 다 removed from the dictionary form 보다. Then add the consonant 리을 to 보, getting 볼, and add 거예요. We then have the informal polite future tense form of 보다, 볼 거예요, pronounced 볼 거예요, 볼 거예요. Repeat after me to say, I'll look at it or I'll watch it. Again, I'll say the dictionary form first, then the verb stem, and then add the informal polite future tense form 리을 거예요 to that. 보다, 보, 볼, 볼 거예요. Pronounced 볼 거예요. 볼 거예요. Now, let's look at two verbs whose stems end with a consonant. How about the verb 먹다, to eat? First, we remove 다 from 먹다 and are left with 먹, the verb stem, which ends with the consonant 기역, leaving us no room to add the consonant 리을 to the stem, but to add the new syllable 을, followed by, yes, 거예요. Hence, we have 먹을 거예요, which is pronounced 먹을 거예요. Repeat after me to say, I'll eat. Again, I'll say the dictionary form first, then the verb stem, and then add the informal polite future tense form, 을 거예요, to the consonant-ending verb stem. 먹다, 먹을 거예요. Pronounced 먹을 거예요. 먹을 거예요. One more verb with a consonant-ending verb stem, a descriptive verb this time. 괜찮다, to be okay. We take away 다 from it to get the verb stem, 괜찮. Add 을 for 괜찮 ends with a consonant. And finish it off with 거예요 to get the informal polite future tense of the verb 괜찮다. 괜찮을 거예요. Pronounced 괜찮을 거예요. 괜찮을 거예요. Repeat after me to say, we'll be alright. Again, you'll hear the dictionary form, then the stem, followed by 을 거예요. Here it comes. 괜찮다, 괜찮, 괜찮을, 괜찮을 거예요. Pronounced 괜찮을 거예요. 괜찮을 거예요. So there you have it. The basic conjugation rules to form the future tense in the informal polite style, also known as the 요 style. Let me also add that, as previously noted, many basic Korean verbs are irregular in that they do not follow the general conjugation rules. I'll give you a few examples, but please do not stress over the irregular verbs. You'll hear them often enough and get used to the sound as it should be said. I suggest learning them as they come, memorizing the correct form of one irregular verb in the same group, and applying the same conjugation to the other verbs in the same category. The first irregular verb group I would like us to look at is the ㅂ irregular verbs group. ㅂ irregular verbs are verbs whose stem ends with a consonant ㅂ and do not follow the regular conjugation rules. Two common verbs in the ㅂ irregular verb group are 듣다, to hear or to listen, and 걷다, to walk. If these follow the regular conjugation rules for the informal polite future tense forms, it would have been 듣을 거예요 and 걷을 거예요. However, with the irregular conjugation, the ㅂ in the stem is changed to the consonant 리을 before 거예요, leaving us with 들을 거예요 and 걸을 거예요, where 들을 거예요 is pronounced 들을 거예요, which means we'll listen or we'll hear, and 걸을 거예요 pronounced 걸을 거예요, which means we'll walk. Repeat after me to say, I'll listen. I'll first say it syllable by syllable as they are written, and then say it as people pronounce it. Here it comes. 들을 거예요. 들을 거예요. 들을 거예요. On to the next 디귿 irregular verb, 걷다, to walk. 걸, 을, 거, 예요. 걸을 거예요. 걸을 거예요. Next, let us look at the real irregular group. These verbs have the stem ending with the consonant real and do not follow the regular conjugation rules. Two common verbs in the real irregular verb group are 알다, to know or to understand, and 만들다, to make. If these follow the regular conjugation rules for the informal polite future tense forms, it would have been 알을 거예요 and 만들 거예요. However, with the irregular conjugation, the 을 is omitted altogether, and 거예요 follows 알 and 만들 for 알다 and 만들다 respectively, leaving us with 알 거예요, which means will know, and 만들 거예요, which means will make. For the informal polite future tense for the verb 알다, to know, repeat after me. 알 거예요, pronounced 알 거예요. 알 거예요. 알 거예요. And for the informal polite future tense for the next real irregular verb 만들다, to make, repeat after me. 만들 거예요, pronounced 만들 거예요. 만들 거예요. 만들 거예요. Now, let us look at one more irregular verb group, the ㅂ-Irregular verb group, whose verb stem ends with a consonant ㅂ, and conjugation does not follow the regular conjugation rules. One such verb is 맵다, to be spicy. If it were a regular verb, the informal polite future tense form would be, can you guess? Yes, it will be 맵을 거예요. But, of course, it's not the correct form. The correct form is 매울 거예요, in which we see the consonant ㅂ is transformed into 울. Note here that it is not 을, but it is 울, O-O-L, 울. And 거예요 follows the 울. Thus, we have 매울 거예요, pronounced 매울 거예요, to mean it will be spicy. Please repeat after me to say it will be spicy. I guess you can imagine yourself warning your new colleague from America about to have this spicy soup dish 육개장, that it will be spicy. Let's do it. 매울 거예요. 매울 거예요. 매울 거예요. Let's do one more ㅂ irregular verb, 춥다, to be cold. As we saw in the verb for to be spicy, 맵다, the ㅂ in 춥, the stem of 춥다, gets transformed into 울, which is followed by 거예요 to form informal polite future tense, and means it will be cold. You can imagine yourself warning your colleague who is going outside without a coat in the afternoon, which you know has turned quite cold compared to the morning. Repeat after me to tell him it will be cold. 추울 거예요. 추울 거예요. 추울 거예요. Very nice. As mentioned at the beginning of the episode, you've now studied the conjugation of all three tenses in Korean. This is an exciting milestone in the learning path for Korean students, so congratulations. You should feel proud for having come this far. Now, don't forget the importance of review. Go back to the relevant episodes for each tense and practice the sentences in each episode time to time. If you're taking a course with us, you can practice and do worksheets with many more verbs in course 6-1 as our premium members. Or consider subscribing to our membership and enjoy all the resources offered on our website, essentialkorean.com. With that note, I'll end today's episode here. I will be back next week with part 2 on future tense. Until then, enjoy studying Korean and stay healthy. 고맙습니다. 안녕히 계세요.